So with Games Workshop's Terminator and Tyranid trailers both officially out in the wild now, I asked you guys to tell me the odds of what they signify for the big previews this week. Let's put all the clues and teasers together and see what we've got. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today I thought we'd do a quick summary of Games Workshop's little teasers, both the trailers themselves, now there's been some time for people to react and discuss to them, plus all the little bits and snippets that Games Workshop has released alongside, including a rather intriguing little teaser yesterday that seems to hint at Space Hulk, though whether or not they're doing it seriously is another question. We've covered both of these short video teasers on the channel already. They are basically confirmed to be teasers that are for the Adepticon preview this week now. Games Workshop have confirmed that in a couple of different places, so it looks that we're getting at least something for Space Marines and Tyranids shown off, though as you can see by these numbers, people aren't exactly sure exactly what is coming. For a quick overview, first up we have that Tyranid trailer, the one where you zoom in on the Tyranid creature's eye and you can see a Space Marine Terminator in it. The big Tyranid's a little bit too close to make out exactly what it is, you can't really tell whether it's a big creature or a little one. But at least from the shape of the armor plates and those big bony spurs on its cheekbones and things, it doesn't really quite look like any current Tyranid variants. It's not obviously a warrior or a gaunt or a gene stealer, for example. I guess it could be just someone using a little bit of artistic license there, but the big bony cheek spur is different to what we've seen before. Given Games Workshop's liking for putting model teasers in their artwork, it's certainly possible that this could be a new miniature, maybe something like a new Prime being one of the main things that I've seen talked about online. Then when you zoomed in, the Tyranid was winding up looking at a Terminator, looking really quite similar to the current ones that we've got. Kind of hard to make out his colouring given the orange eye that he's reflected in, but you could just about make out the Ultramarine symbol over on his left shoulder there, which I'd initially thought meant that it was replacing the Crux Terminatus there, but then someone kindly told me in the comments that it's likely a flipped image due to being a reflection. Definitely makes sense, that. Then that was rapidly followed up by the Terminator teaser trailer. This one escaped confinement the week before from Games Workshop. It looked like they'd just misscheduled their social media post, so the video went live early. But now yesterday they actually released the teasers in full, posting it to their various social media, and giving us a few other cryptic hints and teasers. For the actual video itself, which we talked about last time, the Terminator, you can now clearly see that it's an Ultramarine. That colouring can't really be anything else. Again, it looks pretty identical to the standard ones that we've got at the moment, whereas the Tyranid scene reflected in its eye was a bit more interesting, again not really looking quite like any variant that we'd seen previously, and also not really like the one that we'd seen in the first teaser trailer either. For the general shape of the face and everything, it looks a lot more in keeping with something like a Tyranid Termagant perhaps. It's even got the tongue jutting out in a similar sort of way as this one that you can see here, but it does look a little bit altered. You can just about make out a few more frills and armor plates behind it. Whether or not that's just part of the Gaunt's carapace, or whether it's a completely different beastie, is kind of hard to say with this little information. The one thing that it certainly doesn't appear to be, though, is something like a Tyranid Gene Stealer, who do have a pretty iconic appearance with their general facial shape and big head. Then alongside both of these teaser trailers, Games Workshop has actually released really quite a lot of random little snippets of teaser text. For some reason they haven't kept all of these the same on each place that they've posted them. They've had different little teasers depending on whether they're posted on Facebook, Warhammer Community or YouTube, and a few of them give us some slightly more specific hints. The big videos were titled A New Threat Emerges, and for the Terminator one it was Hold the Line. We had one stating that something is approaching from the galactic west, and one that stated these are images broadcast from the surface of an embattled world. Another one also said that something is happening at the fringes of the Imperium, and both that and the Galactic West little snippets both tie in pretty well with this map that they teased last week. It's got most of the normal things that you'd expect to see on a big map of the 40k galaxy, the Imperium and the Imperium Nihilus, but perhaps the most prominent and obvious thing is the Tyranid logo that's just hiding just out of shot on the bottom left here, around a whole load of pinkish infestation type colour. Often what you see Hive fleets depicted in these big galactic maps, like say Hive Fleet Leviathan. Between that and the Galactic West teaser, it does seem that the Tyranids really are emerging on this side of the galaxy. I guess the side that's just a little bit more ordered and stable compared with the Imperium Nihilus. The post and also their Terminator teaser also pretty much confirm that we will be getting more details for this at Adepticon as opposed to later down the line. This one basically shows that they're announcing something for the Tyranids at Adepticon, whether it's Kill Team Space Hulk 40k or the Space Marine game. And they also said on one of their other teaser trailers that you should look to Adepticon for further answers for this. It does seem that that's what they're building up to with this little marketing campaign. Then yesterday, just as a lot of people seem to be settling on it most likely being 10th edition as opposed to something like Kill Team or Space Hulk, Games Workshop seem to have cheerfully muddied the waters, and they've posted it with the text "Give this brutal Hulk some space to deal with this Xenos infestation," referring to the Terminator as the Hulk, who's going to be stomping around purging tyranids. Clearly though, using the words Hulk and space in reference to the Terminator post, just when a whole load of people are thinking that they might redo their Space Hulk game, it's just adding to the intrigue a bit, and it genuinely could be a tongue-in-cheek teaser to Space Hulk coming out and being announced at Adepticon, or it could just be Games Workshop stirring the pot for the rumour mill a bit, and deliberately trying to muddy the waters a bit when people are thinking that this could either be 10th Space Hulk or even something else. Finally, there has just also been this image going around the internet over the last few days. I've been sent it a fair few times now. This one's a fake photoshopped Tyranid model with a flesh borer and a Tyranid head grafted onto, I think, Age of Sigmar Ossiarch Bone Reaper legs, all shared with a potato cam image to disguise any Photoshop, I suppose. Everywhere that I've seen this posted, I've generally had people say that this looks pretty fake, though I have been sent it quite a few times. I just thought it was worth a mention, seeing as I've been sent this quite a lot of times now, so it seems to have misled at least some people. Sometimes it's hard to spot the fake ones for the real ones, but with the obvious use of other Games Workshop parts in this one, it's not really one of those times. Still though, with all these teasers, it seems pretty likely that we're probably getting new Terminators and new Tyranids of one flavour or another, though exactly how it's all going to be released is a bit more of a question. I asked you guys which you think will be coming. Is it going to be Space Hulk, Warhammer 40k 10th edition, both of the above, or something else altogether? The votes for this still seem to have 10th edition in the lead despite Games Workshop's additional teaser trailer, though it's really not by all that much to be honest, and a fair few people seem to think both might be on the cards. Including the both votes in both camps, that'd be 48% of people think that they're going to announce Space Hulk at Adepticon, and 67% of people think that it's going to be 10th edition. Redoing Space Hulk is a pretty intriguing and cool idea, to be honest. This is Games Workshop's iconic clash of Blood Angels Terminators versus Tyranid Genestealers, played on a big board, and the aim of the Terminators is to go stomping through the depths of the Hulk and trying to do the mission before the Genestealers that respawn over the course of the game eventually lay them low. They've re-released this a few times over the course of Warhammer 40k, the last time with some rather cool Terminator and Genestealer sculpts, and it's pretty much a question of when, not if, they will bring it back again, though whether or not it's happening right now is more of a question. One of the things that make this a bit more likely is that Terminators vs Tyranids is pretty iconic for the setting. It would make sense for it to come back if Tyranids are taking the spotlight. It might make a bit more sense as a small release for this particular preview. 10th edition 40k is going to be an enormous announcement, and it seems almost unlikely that they're going to do that at the same time as lots of other games, whereas a small specialist game like this might well fit the bill better. On top of that, it will really go down the current route the Games Workshop's been doing for the past year. Both Kill Team and 40k have been having Space Hulk and shipboard terrain. We've had boarding patrols and boarding actions and things. Space Hulk would certainly fit in very well with that theme, and might even be able to make use of that same terrain. It goes without saying, of course, Games Workshop's hint of give this Hulk some space also makes it just a bit more likely. Against this though, there are a few major things. The Terminators aren't Blood Angels as they have been in the past. It'd be kind of weird to deviate to the Ultramarines when they're already so overrepresented in other aspects of 40k. It'd just seem like a bit of a weird decision to me. The Terminators in the teasers also definitely aren't Genestealers either. I don't think that they'd redesign the Genestealer for 10th edition 40k. They've got a pretty iconic look that I think would be strange to mess with too much. It'd really be messing with older lore in the setting, plus loads of animations that they've made, and it'd also mess with the whole Genestealer cult's aesthetic as well. I've got an entire army kind of loosely based around the appearance of standard Genestealers. Not saying that you couldn't have Space Hulk where the bad guys are another flavour of Tyranids, but again it just seems unlikely. If we're digging into their teaser text as well, they also said that the images are coming from the surface of an embattled world, not a ship or a Space Hulk, so despite looming out of the darkness in the teaser trailers, again that would probably be a point against. On the other hand though, 10th edition 40k, which people seem to think is more likely from these teasers, again I think that there are some credible reasons against as well. There's definitely a whole ton of reasons for. We basically already know that it's coming around June to July for all sorts of different reasons. Rumours, GW's release schedule, and culminating with their end of 9th edition campaign. It has been very heavily rumoured to be Space Marines versus Tyranids, and this makes absolute complete sense given their normal release cycle. Space Marines are usually the poster boy, and Tyranids are a major faction that haven't seen an update in ages, would be ideal to have as the antagonist faction. I feel like creating these slightly bigger effort video teasers rather than just image teasers like they do in the past also imply that it's something major, maybe would be a bit more in keeping with a new edition of the game than something else. They could well be building up to one of their video launch trailers like they did for 9th edition, with the Sisters and the Space Marines fighting against the Necrons. Finally, in the teaser trailers, the logo after the entire teaser went through was the main Warhammer 40k one, not something different that implied Space Hulk or Kill Team. It doesn't necessarily 100% rule them out, but again it makes it more likely to be something for mainstream 40k than something different. Still though, I think there are some good reasons it's less likely to be as well. I would have guessed that they wouldn't be announcing 10th edition 40k at this stage, not when they have potentially the last book of their Arcs of Omen series to release. In this preview it seems like it's the most likely one to reveal the Lion book, plus the new miniature for Lion L. Johnson before someone happens to leak him or they ship him out early or something daft like that. We definitely could have both, but it just seems like that one could be quite a good target for this teaser, and then shift the focus to the big 10th Tyranids announcement after that for the next one. As I mentioned previously as well, I feel like 10th edition 40k is going to be such massive news that you could easily have an entire preview just for that. These Adepticon ones are going to focus not just on Warhammer 40k, but also Warhammer Underworlds, Heresy, and Age of Sigmar as well. It'd seem just a little bit weird to drop 10th edition 40k as a big announcement, and then swiftly move on to minor releases for other gaming systems. There's almost certainly going to be less big news. My instincts for this one would be that it would be something a bit more preliminary. Maybe we could get something like a more in-depth teaser trailer, or just a few hints as to what's going to be coming, or maybe a few models but not really much explanation about the rest. Given the effort for these teasers though, I can't help but think that something interesting is coming. I guess we'll find out what though. Finally, there's always the possibility for other surprises. We know that Kill Team releases are going to be showcased in this one, and this one's going to be the last Space Hulk terrain style set aboard their boarding actions terrain. Since they first announced those, I feel like a lot of people were expecting them to do Terminators and Gene Stealers at some point. It just seems very iconic for 40k but indoors, but so far we've just got a whole bunch of different Kill Teams. I think that will be pretty cool, though it does seem a little bit weird that they're hyping this up quite so much when they might well be announcing a Primarch or something. Seems strange that the teaser trailers will be for that and not something else. Plus, when they do normally do Kill Team releases, they usually actually have the proper 40k Kill Team logo at the end of the trailer, trying to clearly denote the differences between mainline 40k and Kill Team, like say when they had that cool Commandos vs Death Corps one. Definitely not impossible though, and to be honest, for a Tyranid Genestealer re-release that would seem pretty cool. A Kill Team for some sneaky bug infiltrators would be pretty awesome I think. Finally, something that has been mentioned really quite a bit is tying in with Space Marine 2, the computer game somehow. Again, that's pretty hotly anticipated. It'll make a very big splash outside of the world of the tabletop hobby. It's a good chance for Games Workshop to get a load of more people interested in the setting. And again, as with 10th edition, this one is going to be Space Marines vs Tyranids, so would fit in pretty well with their teaser trailers as well. I guess they could do some more previews or news for the game, maybe a bit more idea of when it's going to be released exactly, or show off some more footage I suppose. In any case, I guess we'll find out Wednesday night in the USA, or over at 3 AM Thursday morning for us here in the UK. I'll absolutely certainly be looking to cover the reveals as they come out in their own videos, so feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics or check back then if you want some short videos analysing what we get. Should be good fun, and this preview is definitely shaping up to be a high yield one, with some combination of a potential for a Primarch 10th edition or a Space Hulk game all in the works, plus some Kill Team stuff. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Given a short summary of the teasers and the additional stuff that Games Workshop has made for them, what do you think is going to be coming in this preview? And what flavour of Tyranids vs Space Marines are we going to be treated to in the Adepticon previews? If you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, where I'll certainly aim to keep up with Games Workshop's news and releases, with new videos just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description below. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.